Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to the Fiscal Philosophy YouTube channel. Just felt the need to update you all on one of my positions. I actually, in order to free up some cash to possibly load the deck on United Healthcare, just before I started getting shares of that stock, I did exit Disney to free up some of the cash, which I have deployed some of it into United Health stock. This is not necessarily an indictment of Disney or a statement that I no longer believe in Disney. In fact, I do think Disney still probably has some upside from here. I don't necessarily find it overvalued at an 18 or 19 price to earnings, but to me, it seemed that the short to medium term outlook was probably better for UNH and probably the long-term outlook as well. Just to reiterate, I think there's absolutely nothing wrong for anyone who continues to decide to hold Disney here. I'm not saying I disagree with you, not saying you should get out. They've done a pretty good job of incrementally gaining back revenues that they lost during the pandemic, which is always good to see. Of course, their parks and their cruises back. Park attendance has hit some crazy numbers in the last couple years, like we've never seen before, just gone gangbusters, even with the price hikes. Also, if you look at their operating margins, the recovery there has been incredibly dramatic. They've really pushed those up. And if you remember back when I first started discussing the stock and considered getting into it, improvement in the operating margins was the key thing that I personally wanted to see as a shareholder, and they have done this. And I could legitimately see the stock continuing from the 118 or so that it's at now back into the 130 range, maybe even close to 150. I generally don't see any reason why that couldn't happen. However, my cost basis was in the 90s. It was probably in the mid 1-teens when I let it go. And honestly, running up another, say, 11 or 12% or something like that, in the case of getting back to the 130s, that doesn't necessarily move the needle as much as the upside potential I see with something like a United Health, which, my cost basis is in the upper 200s there. Maybe we get back to 400 or potentially even 500 and beyond in the long term, which is something that UNH has, just like Disney, had a previous high, had some low points, and then it's still in that kind of recovery mode. But UNH being in the sort of non-discretionary segment maybe has a higher chance. And this was a decision that I wrestled with it for at least a couple days, trying to rack my brain and figure out if this was really the right thing to do. And only time will fully tell in that case. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with holding on to Disney. Those of you that feel compelled to comment, let me know, do you think I made a good call here? Do you think that UNH at, say, 260 or 280 represents a stronger opportunity going forward than Disney at 115 or 116 would have represented for me? If you do, let me know. If you don't, let me know, and also why. I'd like to hear your opinion on that. Always look forward to a productive discussion. And if you haven't already, you can feel free to hop into my Discord, which is linked in the description. We can always talk about it on there. Also, if you have made it to the end here, I would like to say I appreciate you, and also would really like it if you did all the algorithm things, such as subscribing. Perhaps you could even like the video if you liked it, and make sure that you catch me every Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Cashflow Kings live channel. We do, in fact, go live 8 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays. It's the 100th episode this coming Saturday.